Okay, so if we were playing a drinking game and every time I told you guys that I was officially back and going to be making videos on the regular and then don't make a fucking video for almost a month and you guys had to take a drink, you'd be drunk already. Welcome to Happywax TV. Okay, I'm not going to say I'm back, but I'm going to try. Okay, so listen, I've been to San Francisco with my daughter. We went there for a week and toured. That city is absolutely fantastic. If somebody asked me to move there, I would in a heartbeat. It's phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. I had a great time while I was there. I live in Canada. And oddly enough, it's still warm enough to play golf. So I'm still playing golf quite a bit. Not as much as I was before. But anyways, I'm just making excuses why I haven't put a video up in probably a month or close to it anyways. But I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 6 movies that I've watched. I've watched a lot more than that, but we're going to talk about these 6. Now, most of these you've probably already seen. I'm not really going to review them. I'm just going to give you my quick opinion on them, a couple of key points that I liked, and then we're going to move on. Okay, I'm going to get through this. But there are some really good movies coming out that I do want to talk about through the month of December. Also, too, I feel it's time that I did like a top 10-ish list of my favorite Christmas horror movies. Now, I have done one a couple of, well, 2-3 years ago now on my old channel before it got taken down. But there has been some good Christmas horror flicks come out over the last couple of years. And I think they should have, you know, anyways, what I'm saying is that my old list should be updated. So I'm going to have that video coming out probably in the next week or two. And then, yeah, there's some really good movies coming out in December. Troll actually drops today on Netflix. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that. And I'm also going to start doing just, you know, I'm still going to do these videos where I talk like 5 or 6 movies, but I'm also going to start doing some individual videos and kind of break movies down and do a little more in-depth review. So anyways, okay, so the first movie, and this is one of the main reasons why I'm making this video right now, is I had to quickly talk about this movie, Skinamarink. Okay, if there was ever a movie where the audience is going to be divided, whether they love it or they fucking hate it, it's this movie. It's written and directed by Kyle Edward Ball. I didn't know anything about this movie. I don't know how this one slipped under my radar. But I had, again, one of you guys ask me if I had seen it and if I could talk about it and give my thoughts on it. And I thought this movie was fantastic. Now, a lot of people don't like this movie. And the reason, okay, listen, I'm old, okay, I'm old, I'm 51 years old, okay, so I grew up, you know, in the 80s when that was like horror movies were just fucking killer, okay, VHS took over from Beta, you know, the video equipment was still grainy as fuck and still, you know, kind of improving, but what he's done, okay, is he's filmed this in a style, it's kind of like, okay, so it's story-wise, it's nothing like the Blair Witch Project, okay? But when the Blair Witch Project first came out, it was awesome. It was made for like a next to nothing budget, and there really wasn't any movie like that, and people were raving about it. Now, mind you, it's a movie you could only watch once, okay, because if you try and watch the Blair Witch a second time or a third time, you know everything that's going to happen. It just doesn't affect you the same way. And this movie is the same. What he's done, well, I'll read the synopsis. 2 children wake up in the middle of the night to find their father is missing and all the windows and doors in their home have vanished. Okay, well, this movie was made, I think, for like $15,000. So it is like micro budget, okay? But what he's done is he's filmed it. I can't remember what year he said it was taking place in, but it was back, okay? We're talking like 20-ish years ago, something like that. And what he's done is he's filmed it in the style of like the old VHS recorder movies. I'm not sure what the cameras were called, but that's the style where everything's grain. You've got a ton of, I think it's called white noise, or in the background. You know how everything kind of goes pixelated and stuff like that. And I loved it. I have never seen a movie like this before. I've never seen anyone kind of use this style. Like, nothing is centered, okay? These two kids, you can barely make out what they're saying. Everything's fucking dark. There's shots of hallways where it doesn't show down the hallway. It'll show up, you know, to the door frame. It'll show the top of the door frame and the roof, and you can hear people moving kind of underneath it. Or if there's shots of the kid in the living room, you know what I mean? It's like at their feet and stuff like that. Like, everything is off center in this movie. And when there is centered shots, like these long dark hallways, like when this I don't want to give too much away, but when this demon calls for the kids to come upstairs and stuff, you know, it's you see it through the perspective of the kid, and it's this long shot of a dark hallway, and you're actually like, you're squinting and looking into the TV screen through all this grain and stuff that this old school camera's producing, because you can't, like, what it does is it plays tricks on your eyes, and it makes you kind of see things that may or may not be there. I thought this was great. Now, I will say this movie's way too fucking long, though. Like, I think if they shaved off, you know, a half hour to 20 minutes, people would be a lot more accepting of this flick, or at least the ones that are hating on it. Because it does drag in some spots, but I understand what he's trying to do. Like, he's just trying to build this tense atmosphere just to creep you out. And if you actually go on his YouTube channel, he's got a movie on there called Heck. And I believe that is a short film that he did in 2020. And I think that Skinamarink is kind of the longer version of Heck. Now, I haven't watched it. It's just things that I've read. But I think it started with the short film, and then it progressed into this longer film. But if I had any knock on it, it's too fucking long. It just is. But I don't know, you know, give it a watch. If you haven't seen it, I recommend that you do watch. It's kind of like watching The Blair Witch, even though it's nothing like The Blair Witch. But it's kind of like a movie that you've never, ever seen shot like this before. You know what I mean? Kind of like The Blair Witch. Yes, there was some found footage movies before The Blair Witch, but The Blair Witch was the one to kick it all off, in my opinion anyways. But Skinamarink is like, no, I don't think this movie and this style will work for other movies. It's kind of like a one and done. But anyways, I don't want to go on too much about it, but if you have seen this flick, let me know what you think. And if you haven't, go watch it and then come back. Again, if you're old like me and you grew up in the 70s and 80s watching horror movies and filming on these old style video cameras, you know what I'm talking about, the grain and the stuff you can get away with. You just can't do it nowadays. And I think a lot of the people that are hating on this movie are the younger generation, because they don't understand it. They don't understand what he's trying to show. So give it a watch. Let me know what you think. Skinamarink, I gotta recommend it, man. I thought it was great. Another movie, and I'm pretty sure we've all seen this flick by now, is Barbarian. I've had a bunch of you ask me to talk about this flick. I thought it was great. So I kind of, well, I didn't go see it in the theater because I thought it was going to be horrible. I don't know why. I saw the trailer and I thought to myself, there's just no way this movie can be good. Well, holy shit, was I wrong. I love this flick. I loved where Zach Cregger went with the film into these crazy depths underneath the house. And it's not just about, you know, what goes on under the house. It's the decisions that these characters make. And like Justin Long, when he comes into the movie, it's like, you know, he comes in as an asshole, more or less, and then you think he kind of redeems himself, but then he goes back to being an asshole again. You know what I mean? It's just like there's so many character changes in this flick. Georgina Campbell is fantastic in this movie. You know, some of the decisions she makes in this movie, you're like yelling at the TV screen saying, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you even going into this house? Like, can't you just tell by the neighborhood that it's you shouldn't be in there? And you know, and then Bill Skarsgård, you know, he comes across when you first meet him as he could be this creepy kind of pervert who's who's setting up Georgina Campbell, you know what I mean? And then he turns out to be a good guy. It's all about twists and turns and character. And then you've got the whole fucking other, like there's 3 movies built into this movie. There's 3 short films that make up this movie, really. And it's fucking bananas. If you haven't seen this movie, if you're one of the few that have not seen Barbarian, go see it. I had to eat my words. I didn't think it was going to be very good. And when I ended up going to see it, I fucking loved it. I absolutely did. Red Letter Media did a fantastic review and breakdown of this flick. So if you want a more in-depth review, if you haven't already gone elsewhere to find one, go check out Red Letter Media. I think they talk about this movie for almost 45 minutes, and their channel is fantastic. And pretty much all the key points that they talk about are exactly how I thought. So I loved it. Barbarian, if you haven't seen it, man, go check it out. Another movie that I was kind of on the fence of whether it was going to be good or not is called The Retaliators. I thought this movie was pretty damn good. Again, let me read the synopsis. An upstanding pastor uncovers a dark and twisted underworld as he searches for answers surrounding his daughter's brutal murder. Okay, I don't want to say too much about this film because if I talk too much about it and I talk about like the third act of this film, it's totally going to ruin it for you. All I'm going to say is we can use Barbarian as the template for this flick, okay? And that's all I'm going to say, because this movie goes to a place that I did not see coming, okay? But yes, basically, Michael Lombardi plays this pastor, and his daughter gets killed by this guy that, well, he murders her, and then he comes after her with the help of this, or after him with the help of this cop. But the place that this movie goes in the third act is fucking bananas. And it actually kind of, I'm not going to say saved this movie, but I did not see the ending of this movie coming. And I was like, bravo. Bravo for going there, because you just made your, 5.5 out of 10 movie into probably a 7.5 out of 10 movies. So anyways, I don't want to say too much about it. I did like it. I more than just liked it. I thought it was fantastic, but low budget gold right here. So it's called The Retaliators. If you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. If you have seen it, again, like these other movies, let me know what you think. I'm going to save the worst 2 for last. So I'm going to talk about this one flick because I thought this movie was great too. It's called Project Wolf Hunting. I'll read the synopsis. Follows dangerous criminals on a cargo ship who are transported from the Philippines to South Korea as they unleash a sinister force after an escape attempt leads them to riot. Okay, well, anyways, what they're trying to do is they're trying to move all these prisoners from the Philippines to South Korea. So they try doing it on an airplane, but they get to the airport and then there's like a suicide bomber or whatever hack. I can't really remember the beginning of it, but something explodes. There's either a bomb or I think a guy with a vest strapped to him because one of these murderers killed his daughter or one of his family members or something like that. So there's a huge explosion in the airport. So they scrap that, okay? So what they decide they have to do is they have to, make it a little more secretive. So they want to move these prisoners from point A to point B on a cargo ship, okay? So that's what they do. But while they're all on there with the police officers that are moving them, okay, there's an escape attempt, but there's also this government project on the ship as well, in the form of this guy that they've kind of mutated into this superhuman or a super soldier, okay? Again, I don't want to give too much away with this film, but because the more I tell you, like when the twists and the turns come, you know what I mean? I don't want to give that away for you because this movie is fucking banging. Okay, it really is. It honestly is. And I'll tell you, it's fucking gory. Okay, now I've seen movies that have more blood in this, but I mean, this movie is like a 7.5 or an 8 on the gore. Like it's nonstop, and there is tons of it. Like there's head smashing, like just people getting destroyed. It's fantastic when this super soldier starts going bananas on the ship. Now it's 2 hours and 2 minutes, okay? So, I mean, it does kind of drag on after a while. I mean, if you've seen this guy kill a few people, it's just, you know, it does kind of drag. So I do think they could have shortened this film by probably like 15 minutes just to, you know, keep some pacing. In the middle, it does drag a little bit, but there's lots of twists and turns in this movie. I'm not familiar with any of the people in this movie, but from reading other reviews and stuff after I watched this, I guess there's a lot of famous Asian, you know, actors in this movie and actresses. And you can tell because the acting is banging. So I listen, if you watch any of these movies, because you've probably already seen Barbarian, watch this movie, Project Wolf Hunting. It should definitely be on your list to watch after you watch Skinamarink, okay? Because Skinamarink is like something you've never ever seen before. We've seen this style of movie before, but this movie is done so it's over the top, and I thought it fucking worked. So Project Wolf Hunting, make sure you check it out, and let me know what you think after you check it out. Okay. I saw this movie when I was in San Francisco. Okay, it's called Pray for the Devil. All right, it's just your run-of-the-mill wannabe possession flick. I'll read the synopsis. A nun prepares to perform an exorcism and comes face to face with a demonic force with mysterious ties to her past. Well, I mean, that's pretty much it. Virginia Madison gives a great performance in this movie. Colin Salmon is great. He's kind of like the head priest. Now there's this school that they attend, okay, and like, I don't know if it's a real school. I didn't research it, but when I was watching the movie, I was thinking, there's no fucking way that this is an actual thing, okay? So I don't know. I believe it was in Boston where it happened, or Chicago, I can't remember, but the Vatican has this school where they train priests to perform exorcisms, okay? Because apparently, like, there's been more exorcism cases in the last 10 years than there's ever been in the history of mankind. At least that's what they want to play it up. So I don't know. I'm guessing this, obviously, you know how some horror movies, like Cocaine Bear that's coming out in January or February, was based on, you know, actual events. Even though the bear died when it ingested the cocaine, but that movie's making it sound, you know, like this bear went on a fucking cocaine bender, rampage, killing everybody, when in actuality, it just fucking died from ingesting the cocaine. That's, I don't know, that might be what this movie is like, you know what I mean? If there actually is a school, or, you know, if they do train priests to do exorcisms, I don't know. But obviously, you know, they want to keep this one exciting, so they've amped up the exorcism scenes and stuff like that. And, you know, there's a couple twists and turns at the end of who the little girl is and stuff like that. But it's all been done, man. It's all been done. It's, you know, the little girl, she's climbing up on the wall. When she's possessed, she gets these super fucking powers where she's tossing these two priests around inside this glass room where she's being held, even though her mom dropped her off. Like, where's the fucking mom? Why isn't she there every day? Like, I don't get it. And then you've got, you know, Virginia Madsen playing this nun, and she has free reign of this school that she's in. Like, she's not supposed to be doing any of the stuff that she's doing, and no one really even bats an eyelash at it. It's just, I don't know. There's more nonsense in this movie than there is good, and I found myself laughing through a lot of it. So, but again, it's just a popcorny horror movie, and a lot of people will like this movie. It's not a terrible movie, trust me. I've seen a way worse than this flick, but I don't know. Maybe I wasn't in the right mindset when I went in to see. I wanted to see something a little more serious, and I don't know. We got fed this pile of shit. So I don't know. If you've seen it, chime in and let me know what you think, and we'll go from there. But I don't know. I didn't really care for it. Okay, and another movie that's just a pile of shit is called The Accursed. It's a terrible fucking movie. There's just nothing new, and this movie drags, and it's it's kind of silly where, you know, well, here, I'll read the synopsis. Ellie is asked by a family friend, played by Mina Savari, sorry, who's a fucking icon. Okay, she's in this movie. To look after an elderly woman, Meg Foster, living in a remote cabin for a few days. She agrees, but soon discovers there is a demon hiding in the woman, just waiting to break free. Okay, well that's, I mean, it's all a big setup. Basically, they bring Sarah in, Sarah Gray's character in, to watch this woman, and then, you know, the demon is going to leave Meg Foster and then enter into Sarah Gray's character. But the thing is you can see it coming from like 100 miles away. There's nothing new. It's very predictable, and it's one of these movies where they just, and it's the same thing, like all the good effects for the most part are used up in the trailer, where Meg Foster's mouth opens up really wide, and it's all stuff we've seen before. It's a story we've seen before. I mean, yeah, there's a little twist at the end, but again, you can see it coming from a mile away. Like, I knew exactly how this movie was going to end even before the fucking first act ended. So anyways, it's called The Accursed. Now this is 2020, obviously. There's one that I think came out in 2000. I haven't seen that one, so I don't know if it's a pile of shit or not, but I don't know. Listen, I've given you other movies to watch here, like Project Wolf Hunting, The Retaliators, Skinamarink, and Barbarian. Go watch those before you watch Pray for the Devil and The Accursed. So anyways, guys, I'm going to end it there. Again, not really big reviews, just kind of an oversight and my quick opinion on these flicks. I am working on a top 10 Christmas horror list, and I am going to try and put more videos out in December. So still golfing though. I mean, I'm out 3-4 times a week. It's cold, but it's not fucking snowing, and there's a few golf courses that stay open. So I'm going to keep playing until they shut her down. So, but I will put more videos out in December, and I am going to do a few individual reviews back like I did before I started this 5-6 at a time thing. Again, Troll drops today, which is December 1st, which is the day I'm recording this. I'm very interested to see that movie. I'm a huge fan of The Troll Hunter. Now, I'm sure these two movies don't tie into each other, but I like the Trolls, so I am probably going to do an individual review on that flick, and then we'll move forward. So anyways, guys, if there's anything you want me to talk about as far as horror movies go or sci-fi movies, just drop me a comment. All my social media is down below. You can contact me on Instagram. You can join my Facebook group, Happywax TV, or you can just, you know, leave a comment here of something you want me to watch and give my opinion on. That's it, guys. Until next time, stay scared.